Good day, everyone. Welcome to Real Conservative Headline News. I'm your host, Nathaniel Rajkumar. Starting off locally here in Trinidad and Tobago, a relative of murdered police officer Anushka Eversley said Sunday's incident, which left his niece dead in a police station, is an indictment of the state and is a reflection of the current administration's inability to keep the citizenry safe. Lord Father. Anyhow, social and political activist Wendell Eversley described the murder and subsequent theft of over 60 firearms and 4,000 rounds of ammunition as unprecedented and historic. Yeah, it's unprecedented, but don't you all find it strange that these unprecedented situations only take place when PNM is out of office? And I'm not giving credit to the PNM, you know. Something is very strange. What happened in 1990? PNM was out of office and something very significant and unprecedented took place in our nation. I wonder if Eversley remembers that. And what I saw online is that he's or was a member of the COP. The man sounded a whole lot more like a PNM. Speaking with reporters at the victim's home in Edinburgh, 500 Shogunas, Eversley renewed the call for Homeland Security Minister Roger Alexander and Defense Minister Wayne Sturge to be fired. He was highly critical of Alexander, as he said his reactions to various matters of national security were lacking and were nothing short of a rant. Now, bear in mind, people, he's correct to an extent. I've said it on numerous occasions. I don't agree with a lot of things that Roger Alexander has said in the past, and in especially like when he said how there should be a law prohibiting civilians from uploading and posting videos showing police officers committing crimes. I don't agree with that, and I honestly do believe that he should be replaced from his position. But he was a significant contributor to the elections, the UNC campaign, and therefore he needs to be given another good and significant position. I just don't think he's suitable for that job. My response: it's disturbing how this man, Eversley, made this issue a political one, even though crime was out of control under the PNM as well. Does he have any solutions? Eversley, do you have any solutions to our crime crisis? Or is he going to continue using the Kakash media to demonize the UNC administration? Because you know the Kakash media loves to get any opportunity to make the UNC look bad. In my opinion, though, Gary Griffith should be given the Ministry of Homeland Security position and place Roger Alexander in another ministry. But I doubt that will ever happen. So I'm not going to oppose everything the man says and does for opposing sake. The UNC inherited a bankrupt country which was plagued with crime, and yet these activists expect them to wave a magic wand to restore law and order in TNT. It's ridiculous, people. No government is capable of fixing this issue overnight. If UNC was already in office for more than 2 years, then I could understand if the population begins to lose patience and confidence. But all of you are being ridiculous at this point in time. Having said that, I truly hope Prime Minister Kamala and Roger Alexander wake up and realize that the corrupt TTPS, normalizing the drug, weed, and gang culture are the three main reasons why crime continues to escalate here in TNT. It's really important for them to realize that, especially the weed, a matter of fact, all three of them, extremely important. The TTPS, look at the detection rate. Everyone knows it's an extremely low detection rate. And one of the reasons, probably they're not properly trained, because all they're trained to do is being bad boys in the police service in the first place. I believe that they're above the law. The training process needs to change so that they can learn to serve people the proper way. But besides that, because there are so many rogue elements in the police service, a lot of the times they're covering up their friends and families' crimes and lifestyles, and therefore that's why the evidence never reaches where it needs to be in order to be able to solve cases. The Ministry of the People, Social Development and Family Services says it has recorded major achievements over the past year, particularly in expanding support for vulnerable groups and clearing long-standing backlogs in service delivery. Who caused that long-standing backlog? PNM, my dear patriots in Trinidad and Tobago. Minister Vandana Mohit said the ministry has strengthened partnerships with non-governmental organizations, approving increased on one-off grants to assist NGOs that support senior citizens, people with disabilities, and special needs communities. The minister also highlighted progress in providing assistance to vulnerable families, noting expanded food support programs and child-focused policy initiatives over the past year. Someone said recently, they don't know who is Vandana Mohit. This woman is doing a wonderful job, and she is highlighted, especially by TTT. Probably the Kakash media wouldn't do it, but she is highlighted by TTT, state-owned TTT, very often. It shows that she's doing her job and doing it well.
What we recognize is several of our NGOs, they are unable to get subventions. So what Cabinet would have done is we approved these one-off grants and increased some in terms of our budgetary allocation, so more NGOs can, get the one-off grants by means of application.
The minister also highlighted progress in providing assistance to vulnerable families, noting expanded food support programs and child-focused policy initiatives over the past year.
One of the things that we recognize is that at the ministry, we can expand this program, not just from a social services center, but somewhat an on-the-ground initiative. And as we know, MPs and so on, they are face-to-face with constituents. So one of the things we did is we looked at expanding the festive support.
Another significant initiative announced was the Cabinet-approved $5 million Women's Health Fund aimed at addressing period poverty with an initial focus on schools across the country.
Well, I think the first good step we would have made as a government is to allocate $5 million for the Women's Health Fund, and Cabinet would have approved this already, and the committee is now in place. They are to meet.
Minister Mohit also reported significant improvements in service delivery, emphasizing the ministry's efficiency in distributing grants.
I would say that we have had success in almost every department in terms of delivery. Disaster relief grants, we've been clearing backlogs there as well. We've delivered over 1,300 disaster relief grants in less than a year. On Wednesday, we have another distribution. Next Tuesday, we have another distribution. We've distributed over 300 home repair grants.
Another major milestone, she said, was the operational launch of the National Enrichment Center for Persons with Disabilities, along with plans for a National Sporting Academy, marking a significant step forward in inclusive social development. Marie-Therese Bernard for TTT News.
Weather report for Trinidad and Tobago. Tuesday, April 21, 2026. General conditions. Sunny and hazy conditions are expected throughout the day, though a few partly cloudy spells with showers are likely during the morning hours. A mild to moderate concentration of Saharan dust remains in the atmosphere. Persons with respiratory ailments should take necessary precautions. Temperature. High of 31 degrees Celsius to a low of 25 degrees Celsius. Maximum real feel heat index is estimated at 35 degrees Celsius. Rainfall. A 35% to 40% chance of showers is expected between 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Winds. Breezy conditions with winds from the east to northeast at 5 to 30 kilometers per hour. Marine forecast. Sea conditions are slight to moderate with waves in open waters ranging from 1.5 meters to 2.0 meters. High tide is expected at 4:10 a.m. and 5:35 p.m. Low tide is expected at 11:05 a.m. and 10:45 p.m.
Guyana's Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa on Monday provided an update to members of the media following the successful local cultivation and harvesting of approximately 40,000 kilograms of onions, signaling a major step forward in Guyana's drive towards agricultural diversification and food security. You see what they're doing with their oil monies, my dear people, and that's what we need to do in Trinidad. Invest a whole lot more in agriculture. Spend much more, allocate a lot more billions of dollars for agriculture in the future. Minister Mustafa announced that following the success of the initial pilot project, the Ministry of Agriculture is now preparing to expand onion cultivation on a large scale across multiple regions. Last Thursday, approximately 2,000 bags of onions cultivated in Region 9 were transported to Georgetown, marking another boost for local agriculture. The first batch was purchased by local distributor Mr. Abdul Wahab Wahab Imports, with the ministry facilitating access to an immediate market for the produce. That's wonderful as well. You don't want this stuff to be cultivated and then just stay on your hands and spoil. This initiative forms part of the government's broader strategy to strengthen food security in Guyana, but not just Guyana, and across the wider Caribbean through sustained investment, innovation, and support for farmers. The first official disbursement of approximately $17 million in grants under the government's community church cleanup and restoration initiative in Jamaica was made to 101 churches in St. Elizabeth to repair damage caused by Hurricane Melissa. You could believe the media and even members of Jamaica had a kind of like a problem with that, and the Prime Minister had to say, well, no, it's not what you all are saying, it's just basically for cleanup purposes or whatsoever. Can't remember the story properly. Those from Jamaica, I know I have Jamaican viewers. Tell me what's your opinion about this. I love it. I believe that your Prime Minister is doing quite well when it pertains to a lot of different issues. I just don't like the new taxes. The handover of the grants forms part of a wider program targeting more than 400 churches across 5 of the worst affected parishes: St. Elizabeth, Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, and Westmoreland. A significant collaborative push is currently underway in Barbados to transform the school food environment by integrating local vendors into the Barbados school nutrition policy. Recognizing that vendors both on and off campus play a critical role in shaping children's eating habits, the government is moving away from punitive measures in favor of specialized training and forums to help these stakeholders transition to healthier options. This inclusive approach is designed to ensure that the food available beyond the gate outside of the school compound aligns with new national standards, including a ban on sugary drinks and strict limits on total sugars and sodium in snacks for the upcoming 2026-2027 school year. Yeah, but don't overdo it now. Oh gosh, these young people at the end of the day still, man. Do everything in what? Moderation. To support this transition, education and health officials have launched a series of forums where vendors can meet suppliers of alternative compliance products and learn about updated monitoring procedures. Mandatory adherence to these nutrition standards will soon be a prerequisite for permit approvals, with the government aiming for ambitious targets such as 15% increase in fruit and vegetable consumption by 2028. Major decisions in Bahamas. Bain and Grantstown candidate Wade Winston says this election is not just about progress, but the country's direction and need for steady, focused leadership. Speaking to supporters at the party's Central West rally, Watson said the leadership is found in the Philip Davis-led government. They're seeking a second term in office. The question is the Philip Davis government like the UNC or the PNM? If they are trying to do a good job to fix the mess that other governments have done and made in the past, then probably you really should give them a second term in office. If they are the PNM though, who always destroy countries and economies, their country and economy, then please go back and start to vote for your other political party.
Festival. This isn't a slogan, ladies and gentlemen. This is vision. Listen carefully, Bahamians. A man cannot run his own party but wants to run the country. Tell me, a party full of division wants to be handing people hand them the keys. You think they're serious?
Who are you talking about?
Michael Patrick Pornography paying power. Ladies and gentlemen, this election is about direction. We are going forward with one leader. If you believe in brave Davis, say choose progress.
International news now. Senator Cory Booker, radical leftist, extremely radical leftist, is drawing backlash over his sermon-style speech at the Michigan Democratic Convention, urging supporters to become foot soldiers for democracy, while warning of darkness and wind facing the nation. You see many videos that promote socialism, communism, Marxism, talking about democracy. Telling you, DNC equals hypocrisy, which is also same like PNM. Critics say his remarks shift blame to voters for recent losses rather than the party's platform, which is, as I said, socialism, Marxism, anti-Semitism to a great extent as well within a part of the party. There are still those, thankfully, that support Israel still. As Booker is floated as potential, listen to this, this is the funny part of it, as a potential 2028 contender alongside Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris wants to go back again, right? And Andy Bashir. I guess they're going to try to become the candidate, the presidential candidate for the DNC. It will be lovely. It will be wonderful for Kamala Harris or one of these others to become the candidate to the representative. You know why? Makes it much easier for a man like Marco Rubio or DeSantis or even J.D. Vance to win the election.
Ladies and gentlemen, there is a storm in our nation. There is darkness and wind. People are getting hurt. What we need is not from on high. We need foot soldiers of our democracy who in times of trial are willing to stand up. Will you stand for our democracy? Will you stand to get out the vote? Will you stand for our children? Will you stand up for our elders? And will you stand together, unified, strong, be the hope that people need? We are Democrats. It's time for a new deal. It's time to redeem the dream of America.
Apple has announced a landmark shift in its corporate leadership as Tim Cook prepares to step down as CEO, concluding a transformative era that began back in 2011. Under Cook's tenure, the tech giant expanded its reach into services and wearables while achieving unprecedented market valuations, making his departure a pivotal moment for the industry. John Turner's currently the Senior Vice President of Hardware Engineering and a key architect of the Mac and iPhone's recent success, has been named as his successor. Turner's appointment signals a commitment to maintain Apple's core focus on hardware innovation and product excellence as the company enters its next chapter of global competition. Whatever the reason for stepping down, I wish you all the best. Maybe you just want to spend your older years with your family. I don't know. But everything comes to an end at some point in time. Eh? So we wish you all the best in your retirement.
Interesting facts and inspirational true stories. Dedication knows no limits in the story of Li Juhong, a village doctor in China who lost both legs as a child but never gave up on helping others. Since 2001, she has cared for more than 1,000 residents living in remote mountain communities. Using wooden stools to move along rough paths, she travels to patients who cannot reach a clinic. When routes become too difficult, her husband carries her so she can continue making house calls. Her service has inspired millions worldwide. Welcome to Real Conservative. Headline News Travel Adventures. The Kama Rhino Sanctuary, KRS, is a premier wildlife destination in eastern Botswana, established as a community-based project to protect the country's natural heritage. Located near the historic village of Siro, the sanctuary spans over 8,500 hectares of Kalahari sandfield, providing a safe haven for both white and black rhinos. It serves as a vital bridge between the modern world and the pristine wilderness of the Kalahari, offering visitors a unique opportunity to witness these majestic creatures in their natural habitat. The heart of the sanctuary is the Surapan, a vast grass-covered depression featuring several natural waterholes. This geographic focal point draws a diverse array of wildlife, ensuring that visitors can easily spot zebra, blue wildebeest, giraffe, and various antelope species alongside the resident rhinos. For those seeking a deeper connection with nature, the sanctuary offers guided rhino tracking on foot, as well as morning, afternoon, and night game drives led by expert rangers who share their knowledge of the local ecosystem. Travelers can choose from a range of accommodations designed to suit different levels of comfort. The Makongwa camp provides spacious campsites under the shade of large mankatai trees, offering a true bush experience. For those preferring more amenities, there are self-catering chalets equipped with hot water and basic comforts. With its central restaurant, swimming pool, and well-maintained road network, the Kama Rhino Sanctuary stands as a testament to successful community conservation, providing a peaceful and educational retreat for families and wildlife enthusiasts alike. Hope you enjoyed today's video, and we'll see you again tomorrow as our journey around the world continues. Bible quote of the day. Deuteronomy chapter 7 verses 6-8. For you are a holy people to the Lord your God. The Lord your God has chosen you to be a people for himself, a special treasure above all the peoples on the face of the earth. The Lord did not set his love on you nor choose you because you were more in number than any other people, for you were the least of all peoples, but because the Lord loves you, and because he would keep the oath which he swore to your fathers. The Lord has brought you out with a mighty hand, and redeemed you from the house of bondage, from the hand of Pharaoh king of Egypt.
Folks, that brings us to the end of today's headline news. Thanks again to everyone who continues to support my content. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Stay blessed and stay safe most of all. In Jesus' name.